I'm here this morning with Stephen Rosney. Um, how's the weather there in Ireland?
Yeah, it's pretty good today, Rich. Like I was talking to you off air there, we could get the four seasons in one day here. It changes that quick. But today is pretty good. I'm outside here today on the deck, so the sun is shining.
Wow. Um, who inspired you to do music?
Yeah, well, ever since I was a little lad growing up, I was only probably 6, 7. Our house was there was always music in our house growing up. The neighbours would come and they'd all join in maybe twice or three times a week, and they'd be all playing all sorts of instruments. The whistle and fiddle and accordion and guitar. We'd be there hiding behind the curtain so we wouldn't have to go to bed. But we'd be listening to all this sort of music, and I suppose from an early age, and then as I got on a bit older, I loved the Merle Haggard stuff and Glenn Campbell and that sort of stuff. John Prine will be a big influence on what I do.
Okay. What is the best song you ever released and why?
Yeah, that's a tough one because the last lucky years I've been over and back to Nashville and I've been writing with some great songwriters in Nashville, Max T. Barnes, and between Max and his father, they've written like 35 number one hits in America. So it's been a privilege to get to know Max and write with songwriters like Max. But I suppose as a songwriter, writing songs is like chopping wood. You write a song and you throw it into the pile, and maybe someday it comes back out again. But I think for me, probably the best song I've written, it's a song about where I live here in Ireland. People heat their houses here with a fuel called turf. They dig it out of the ground, and that's what keeps them warm in the winter. It's like a ritual every year. They're getting ready to cut the turf. It's very important. So I wrote a song about it. It's called The Old Turf Sod. And my brother Kieran, I gave it to my brother Kieran. He's a country singer, and he recorded it, and we shot the video, and it can be seen on YouTube there. So the song really describes from start to finish how they cut the turf years ago. It was a very labor intensive. Everything was done by hand, and they had the little donkey and cart, and they used to carry it out the bog and spread it out. And so probably for me, that's probably the song I hold most important.
Wow. We're gonna play your song, Belfast.
Belfast, yeah, One Way Ticket to Belfast. That's a song that I wrote with a good friend of mine from Nashville, Rick Sander. Rick wrote loads of great songs for My Everlasting Love, Dionne Warwick, and it was just great to write this. So we sat down and we wrote this song, One Way Ticket to Belfast, and I'm delighted to have co-written that song with Rick. He's such a great songwriter and such a great piano player and musician, and it's one way ticket to Belfast.
Okay, we're gonna play it.
Got one way ticket to Belfast.
That sounds similar like our bluegrass a little bit.
Yeah, I suppose it's not fully bluegrass, but it's kind of it's a sound we've created over the years. And anyone wants to check out the video for that, they can do so by going on to the Back Axes on YouTube. And we shot the video for that one up where the Titanic was actually built, up in Belfast. So we had a really good fun that day.
Are you planning to cooperate with any other artists?
Yeah, we're working on a number of things at the moment, and although this coronavirus will probably quieten things down for a few months, but we're planning on going back to Nashville, and we're working with a good friend of mine there, Mr. Mike Scott. He's a legendary banjo player. He toured with Jim and Jesse for over 30 years, and he's over 40 appearances on the Grand Ole Opry. So we're delighted to be working with Mike Scott, and we've lots of new songs coming out in the pipeline.
What's coming up in the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, well, unfortunately myself, I had an open heart surgery there around the Christmas, and I'm doing good, thank God, and there's a lot of people out there praying for me and wishing me well, and I appreciate all that. And I'm doing pretty good. I'm back in the studio, and I'm writing songs, and so we're planning on going to Malta. I know we're in Malta for a festival in Malta in July, and we have some festivals here in Ireland, and we're planning to go back to Nashville as well. So it's hectic enough the second half of the year.
If you could play an instrument, what would it be and why?
Well, would you believe it? My father, when I was only small, I suppose I was 7 or 8 or 9, and he used to say to me, he'd say, "Son, if you can play an instrument, you'll never go hungry." And so he used to bring me to. I used to get piano lessons, so I started off playing piano keyboards, and then I went from there playing the guitar. So at the moment, I'm playing guitar, and I like playing the guitar, and I like all instruments, but I have a young chap now, and I do tell my kids the same. I'd say my father told me, and he was so right. So I have my youngest, Mark. He's 8. He's playing the fiddle, and Luke is 10, and he's playing the 5-string banjo. And Jade is 13. She's learning piano. So shortly, I'll nearly have a family band going.
Where can people see your videos, music, and events?
Yeah, well, look, we're on social media, at the Back Axles, the Facebook page, or Clada Promotions. We're also with Celtic Country TV. And on YouTube, my own personal page is Stephen Rosney, singer-songwriter. So there's loads, sure to catch us somewhere on the social media circuit.
Well, thanks for being on the show this morning. I really enjoyed talking to you.
Thanks very much, Rich. It's a pleasure being on the show, and thank you for taking the time out to get in touch today. And to everybody listening in, big thank you for supporting the Back Axles and requesting their music. And without people doing that, we wouldn't be able to go into the studio and record. So. And I just like also to say, Rich, I have another song that I done there while I was in hospital. I actually got out for the day. They let me out for the day to shoot the video. And it's a song I wrote. You hear so many stories about people, getting down on themselves and mental health. And so I sat down one day, and a friend of mine asked me would I write this song. And I wrote a song called Just Talk. And like I said, I got out of the hospital for the day to shoot the video for it. So, it's just encouraging people, it doesn't matter if you have a bad day, talk to somebody. And, a problem shared is a problem halved. And I think if we all do that, we'll get into less trouble.
Yeah, that's great advice.
I know it's hard to do, but, you often see that, it could be a small thing bothering you, but if you talk to your friend or talk to someone, it really isn't a problem at all. Then, it's only a small problem. It's just when people don't talk about it, the problem gets bigger.